Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Business Podcast, your source for all things business. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at Ask Adam Torres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today is a very special Reunion 2020 episode. What is that? That's when I've had a guest on in the past, and I liked them so much I had to bring them right on back. So today's special return guest is Genevieve Harris-Eckel, and she is a performance coach and a business development consultant. Genevieve, welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much. It's so wonderful to be back. Thanks for having me.
All right, so excited to catch up with you. I mean, yeah. I know that one of the new offerings that you're doing and one of the directions you're going in is personalized performance coaching. So let's just jump right in. So tell us a little bit more about your program.
Yeah, absolutely. So since last time we spoke, I know that as I've been telling you, I've been working with entrepreneurs. And kind of in my journey last year of working with entrepreneurs, I met a couple people actually in the financial world meaning kind of the stock market, hedge funds, along those lines. And so I'd kind of had some experience with the economics before in my professional career, but not hands-on working with the people who were actively things like day traders, portfolio managers, stuff like that. And so kind of the more I got into that world, the more I got into the psychology of those individuals and being able to figure out, what makes certain people more successful than others in such things like long trades, stock trading, day trading, all of those, kind of the more financial terms. Let me know if I need to define any of those. And so I started to wonder, like I said, the psychology of it, and through kind of some, networking opportunities I had, I got in touch with a person who actually runs his own company out of Nevada. He's from New York, and I got introduced to a whole world of day traders. And so I was doing informational interviews, talking to a lot of them, and they all started to come up against kind of the psychological barriers of being successful in their trading. And so that's what really started to catch my interest. And so a couple of them, because in their eyes, they really see them all as they're each kind of their own entrepreneur in their own way. And so they're like, oh, well, you work with entrepreneurs. Can you help us? And so I started taking on a couple of them, and we started to figure out a lot of the kind of, psychological roadblocks they were facing when they couldn't get past a certain point profitability-wise, or if they did, they would kind of lose it all the next day. And so that's what kind of got me interested into it. And together we were able to actually make these two people much more profitable. When I met them, they were trading at, I think, 60% success rate, and now they're trading at 84%. And so that actually kind of sparked my interest, and I got so involved in all of this, I actually decided I wanted to go further and further and further with it. And I'm actually back in school, and I'm getting my master's degree in psychology to kind of keep going on this road.
Wow, how exciting. And I love what I see that, and this is one of my favorite things about these reunion episodes. You're like, oh my gosh, wait, what's next? No, that's super exciting. So tell us a little bit, and so there's a lot of people listening right now, business owners, entrepreneurs, executives.
Yeah.
Some are in finance, some are not. And there's a lot of different types of coaches and performance coaches out there. So that being said, tell us a little bit more about your methodology and kind of your process behind what you do in coaching.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would definitely say the first and foremost thing is I work with individuals to keep them focused on what their ultimate goal is. Because so many entrepreneurs, regardless of what industry you're in, most people have these amazing visions and imaginations of where they want to be. It's kind of like the age-old question of where do you want to be in 5 years? And so I found that while those kind of thought processes are quintessential to what we all do as entrepreneurs, some people get lost on the road of how to get to their ultimate goal. And so what I work with people on is keeping them here in the present and being able to take those major goals, regardless if it's starting a business or starting a corporation or a hedge fund or, getting to a certain point trading, for example, per month. And I break it down to small weekly goals that we then kind of tackle together, whether we meet once a week or twice a week, whatever that schedule is. And then within those small broken down goals, we figure out if there's anything internally on a psychological level for that person that's kind of mentally stopping them from either seeing the bigger picture or they're, purposely blind to something on a subconscious level that they're not aware of. And so together I kind of help, and I know this is kind of more in depth on an intrinsic level, but I kind of help break through the emotions clouding judgment, because I found a lot of people make errors in business in general because they get emotional about it. And so because they don't know how to control those emotions, the emotions take over, and then they can start to make mistakes simply due because they're being reactive instead of responsive to certain situations that arise.
Oh, that's awesome. And so what does a typical engagement look like with you? So is this in terms of length of time, so that people have a feel for how the coaching process works? Is it a month? Is it months? Is it a year? Is it ongoing? Give us a feel for that too.
Yeah, totally. So it is entirely up to the individual depending on what duration of time they're investing in. So I always like to start people off with a 6-week program. And because I'm based in the West Coast in California myself, but, a lot of people are based all over America. And so I actually like to always offer my services via Skype, or, I have a couple telecommunication devices I use that way, video chat-wise. And so my sessions are hour long, and we can either do once a week or twice a week, depending on the severity of how soon they're wanting to accomplish their goals. But over a 6-week course of time, the first session is we talk about what they're striving for, what issues they're having, maybe what their roadblocks are, what the problems they think those roadblocks are coming from. And then I kind of do my analysis while we're talking and Skyping, and then we're able to slowly break down by the end of that first meeting, what their focal point is and what our certain goals are going to be during that 6-week process. And then every time we meet, like I said, whether it's once a week or twice a week, we're able to tackle those small goals, and I keep everyone on track and accountable for being able to process through the things that they're coming up against when they're trying to just head this on individually.
That's awesome. So Genevieve, if somebody is listening to this, and they're in a 2-part question. Number one, what is the right type of client that's the right fit for your coaching process, or the right types? Number two, if they're interested in getting more information and connecting with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
Absolutely. So definitely, my main source of contact information right now is through my LinkedIn. I found that to be kind of the best way. I had a website up and running, but I was just finding it difficult. People weren't able to actually find me very easily, just because of all the, Google algorithms and all of that, right? So I didn't want to play those games. So my LinkedIn, and you can just find me by my first and last name. There's only one of me on there. So that's really the most direct way to find me. And the second question you asked me, what kind of clientele is good for, the kind of work I do, I would say, honestly, anyone who has a goal where they want to be independent, where they want to be financially independent, or they're starting to feel overwhelmed in a role, whether it's for their own business or even a corporation they're part of, and they're, suddenly tasked with all these things, and they're getting overwhelmed and kind of lost in, A to B, B to C, all that kind of thing. Pretty much anyone who's willing to be open-minded and work towards their goals and understand that there might be some hard work that they have to do, one-on-one with me to break through those barriers, and mentally understand that if they can kind of understand how to better control their emotions and their reactions to things, then they'll be able to accomplish much more, because they'll be coming from a place of logic, which all of us business people know is absolutely crucial to be successful, instead of just being emotionally reactive and overly sensitive. Does that make sense?
Oh, no, that's great. And so first off, thank you for coming back on the show, Genevieve, and sharing more about what you're up to, and really excited to hear more about your personalized performance coaching and how you're helping your clients going into 2021. Going to have to bring you back for another reunion episode to see what's going on, and best of luck in the studies and going after this master's program. I mean, that's all great stuff. Just continuing to add value for your clients, and to the audience that's listening, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. Leave me a review on the Apple iTunes Store. If you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Mission Matters Business, definitely give us a subscribe there. But more importantly, leave us some comments on the video. I'd like to know what you're up to, what kind of projects you're working on. Let's keep the conversation going over in the YouTube community. And Genevieve, thanks again for coming on the show.